Anyway,
Okay, here we are.
here we are. Here we are in Brisbane at the F.I.G Working Week 2025.
Wow.
I mean, what an amazing week. It really has.
Absolutely.
And you, for Commission 9, you've done quite a few sessions.
Yes, yeah, we did.
And I hope Commission 9 has been championing the digital generation, the name of the working week.
Okay, yeah, we are trying to do. It's not easy because we have really different databases all over the world, and we are dealing with the price data and the markets in real estate, and the real estate markets are really not easy. You know, as they are what I call they are like human beings, and human beings are not easy. This is how it goes.
But you had an interesting comment that you made, about transparency, which is a huge theme throughout your commission. And how did that go in Brisbane, that theme?
I think, the transparency question is the head of that what we're doing, talking about and dealing about markets. And the theme is coming from let's say, the economical thoughts, what the economists think about transparency. But this is not the truth. Transparency is more than just rational thinking. It's lots of behavioral aspects in markets. So people are not rational. People, are human beings, and this is the way they think about the market.
Yeah.
And this is how the market functions, and this is what we're trying to figure out. And then when you want to analyze this market, you need data. And when you don't have any data, it's just a theoretical thing. And this is not what we want. We want the truth, or being nearby the truth when we're talking about market values.
But we also talked about, we did talk about a little bit about data in Brisbane, but we got into this discussion as a community about storytelling, and that,
Exactly.
we've got to tell the stories to people so that they really understand where we're trying to get. And I think looking at, I was looking at this great series of podcasts, and it's all about storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Each podcast is a story. So just picking up on one of them, what have you got here? You've got sort of 6 of them going on. Fantastic. Good data, bad data. So, you're talking about data. You've talked about data in Brisbane. How did that podcast go?
Okay, I think it is when you try to dive deeper in markets and try to understand the patterns that are going around, you need good data. What is good data? Good data is how, if they are they prepared for good analysis? So if they are standardized, if they are usable, if they are acceptable, if they are accessible. This is my point of view, or the point of view of the Commission 9 experts of good data. And this is the link to all the other colleagues who are dealing with data from the geodetic side. And this is what makes the F.I.G unique from my point of view, because we have lots of different commissions there. They're all dealing with data. Data from the moon, data from the sea, data from everywhere.
What is it I said? I said something about, we're operating in the oceans,
this is
down to the
the
mountains, down into the lowlands, into the sea, and into the deep trenches.
This is exactly what I mean. And this is, the case of F.I.G. Other federations dealing with valuation, for example, they are specialists in valuation and evaluate real estate prices or values or whatever, but they are not so experienced with databases. And this is what makes F.I.G special.
You say that, though, about databases. We have members certainly around the world that don't have that database. There is no way they can get the data in certain countries. I'm thinking about my fatherland in Ghana, where getting sufficient data, you can get it, but it's not consistent across the whole country. And so when you want to talk about transparency in the real estate market, how does that square with what, the fact that you can't get the database?
The main reason I put in this topic, transparency on real estate market, is that I'm angry since, say, 30 years. It doesn't bother me. But I'm really. Everyone is talking about how transparent the country is, how transparent the society is, how transparent the politics is. They tell it on Sunday, and when it comes to Monday to Friday, it's not transparent. It's just talking about it. And what we try to define in the Commission 9 is find out a definition, a clear definition what transparency is. Like the surveyors, they know what a meter is. They exactly know what a
So
meter
now you're
is.
going towards standards, aren't you?
We do.
So that are you trying to really define what the standard is?
Yeah, something like this. So, and we were coming out with a paper, a standpoint paper in November, short before the regional conference in Nepal.
Oh, great.
We coming out with this paper defining the term of transparency in real estate markets from an F.I.G point of view. And it's really successful because, as far as I know, also the other institutions are talking about this paper. We have this MOU with the International Valuation Standard Council, and I know that they were discussing this paper. Also, RSCS do. So the valuation federations are talking about these things, this transparency aspect, and
talking about the standardization,
and the definition of what transparency is. And this is very important. This is a paper. It's not a scientific paper.
So where does that go in terms of ethics?
This is another question. Is
it separate? You see,
it is. We put it in the paper, and we said we have to be careful with this.
Looking at the two together, and I wondered what your link would be between ethics and standards.
The case of ethics is when it comes to transparency into accessible data, and it comes to price data and transactions data. It's always a personal data, so we have to look after the secureness of personal information. So, and this is really different from country to country, from culture to culture. So we are not the ones who are deciding what is bad or what is good transparency. This is not our case. Our case is like jurists do. We measure it, nothing more, not to justice or judge or something like that. This is the idea.
But to swing now, sort of way round into AI, because we were touching on that here in Brisbane, weren't we?
Yeah, we did.
Good old AI, big data, etc. And we've gone towards big data a bit. AI, because you had a podcast on that too.
Yeah, we had a session about this, and we were talking about this, and it's a little bit the same like the term transparency. Everyone is talking about AI, a big buzzword in the moment. And from my perception is we have to talk about or define what AI in our profession really means and how we handle it. So otherwise, it's sneaking around this buzzword, and it's foggy and no one understands, but everyone is talking very, important about these things. So what we try to do is to define what is AI in our profession, what does AI really mean in real estate valuation. Well, one thing we figured out here in Brisbane at the working week from the F.I.G is that we shouldn't be afraid, that we shouldn't be scary by AI.
Yeah, and I saw your slogan, don't be scared.
Don't be scared. No, this is right. Yeah, don't be scared because, when the fire came up many 1,000 years ago, everyone I've not been there in this time, but they might be scared from the fire. They said, oh, the fire is dangerous. And now it's really important to have fire. So this is the picture, the image I have from that.
Yeah. So I guess, in closing, when I was just talking and trying to sum up some thoughts I had on data, in fact, and it was not so much about what we do about it now and how do we fathom it, etc. Because I think that's all doable. The bit we haven't yet done is where there's data poverty. We haven't really talked about that. Yeah. We haven't talked about data security. You touched on standardization, and I just think, the regulation of AI and data, and big data is coming, it's on its way now. We need to be in those conversations.
Absolutely. And when we sleep the time these aspects are coming up and we are not aware about what's going on, we are not really experts. No, we are nothing. So we have to be awake and to have to manage what is going on there and put in our points of view into this discussion. This is really important. What I think about F.I.G has a very, very important uh, uh, aspects to put into all those discussions. I think it's really important. So we have to do lots of things.
I think we do. Of course we do. So I think, Peter, what you're doing in the Commission 9, valuation, with a whole load of colleagues, Cromwell and Daniel and so on. I think you're doing a really good job.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, it's easy for me to watch you doing all that hard work, and I'm really grateful. And I think by next year, at the end of the term, you're going to have some really good publications. There's going to be some really good stuff.
Okay, I'm quite sure we're working on it, and we're working out this transparency idea, which is really going around, and we'll see what's happened.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.